Nowadays, dubbing is regarded higher than what it used to be in the 30s, back when movies with audio were still fairly new and the international commercialization of the cinematographic industry in general was still at the beginning, because mute films were still considered the true cinema. Modern dubbing is also widely used in TV series, cartoons, commercials, documentaries, video games, and TV shows that we import from other countries. But what exactly is dubbing, and how exactly it is done? In this regard, my analysis is actually started as a simple curiosity tied to the attempts at reading lip sync of the actors, a curiosity which allowed me to discover which are the figures involved in the dubbing process and what each of them exactly do. Let's start from the director, who is the one in charge of casting and choosing the other people that are going to work at the project. He's the one that, after acquiring all the assets of his team, will decide which lines will be dubbed together with the adapter and the translator. In this phase, the work is mainly focused on the script and the redaction to the scenes, called rings. Other important roles are the dubbing assistant and the sound technician, who sometimes is also the one in charge of syncing, making the hubbub and editing out the noise from the final product. But the director also has to choose and cast the appropriate voices for the characters to dub, and this is one of the most important figures of the entire process, the dubber. Without taking any credit away from the other roles, the dubber is probably the most important role in the production, other than the most difficult one, because it's important to deliver a line or a word in a way that it's easy to understand for the audience, but without taking away the meaning, and only using voice and interpretation. We talk about dubber actor because the dubber is indeed an actor who gives his voice to a character, and as such every dubber must have a natural talent for it, other than a proper training and experience. All of this is possible to achieve by learning techniques and tricks that the excellent Italian schools offer. In fact, Italy is one of the countries where this field of study has seen the biggest and fastest growth, because it was one of the first countries that started dubbing movies imported from the United States since the advent of spoken soundtrack in order to make these movies more enjoyable for the audience and also because of political reasons of the time. However, with the advent of internet, there are more and more spectators that choose to watch something in its original language, which is often accompanied by subtitles. Methods that are undoubtedly useful to get familiar with a foreign language or to allow deaf people to still enjoy a movie, but also rarely done properly, as the authors of these subtitles are often amateurs and all but professionals. This leads to wrong translations, because it's not always easy to get a translation in the right way. An example is included in one of the movies dedicated to a famous Marvel character, Captain America. In particular, in the last movie Civil War, the character Iron Man calls Spider-Man Underoos, which is a brand of American underwear mostly unknown in Italy. The word Underoos, in fact, can and shouldn't be translated, and this is where it is shown the ability of adaptators and translators. Thanks to their experience, they often get to an appropriate solution. In this case, as the Spider-Man portrayed in the movie is a teenager and the Underoos brand is mostly advertised to young American people, they went with Bimbo Ragno, which perfectly represents the nickname given to the character. Other examples can be offered by looking at the popular TV series Supernatural, in which the Winchester brothers, their lives, and the various characters tied to them have a huge amount of nicknames. Their car, for example, is often called Baby or Metallic Car, a reference to Dean's favorite kind of music that are not translated in the Italian version. Dean and Sam Winchester are a duo which, like Stanlio and Ollio, can be divided, and for this reason they earned bizarre nicknames tied to other famous television couples: Chucky and Joni from Happy Days, Timon and Pumbaa, Moose and Squirrel from Bullwinkle and Rocky, or Our Boys from a popular American TV series from the 70s and 80s. One of the supporting characters, Bobby Singer, who's like a father to them, calls them idiots. The Angel Castiel often calls them favorite pets, translated in Italian as cani da caccia or little cubs. Between the two of them, they call each other bitch and jerk. But the translation isn't always the only problem tied to the audiovisual media. It isn't rare, in fact, that the adaptation of operas or movies inspired by books don't reflect or do justice to the literature masterpieces they represent. It's the case of the famous novel Les Misérables, written by one of the most important French writers, Victor Hugo. In the various transposition, in fact, it's very rare to find the same emotions and sensation that is possible to feel reading the novel. The last movie adaptation in particular, despite the impressive cast of actors, doesn't do justice at all to the book, except for Hugh Jackman's acting as Valjean. There are also numerous examples of movies, both Italians and foreign, which titles are completely changed and ruined in other languages for various reasons, such as the inability of translating certain words or phrases. A popular Italian movie that was translated in a very strange way is Vittorio De Sica's Shusha, which originates its title from the work of shoe shiners. At the time, the melting pot between Italy and the United States was strong because of the war, and this made possible for English words to be created based on Italian ones and vice versa. This is in the case of other movies such as I Soliti Ignoti, that was translated by the Americans as The Big Deal on Madonna Street, or Rumblefish, that we translated in Italian as Rusty il Selvaggio. The same strange treatment was reserved also for some French movies, like for example Jeux des Enfants, changed into Amami sa il coraggio, a completely different title with a completely different meaning. In conclusion, and going back to dubbing, my personal experience in this field started following an interview I made with an Italian icon of dubbing, Chiara Colizzi, that gave me the chance to learn a lot of this professional's job from her point of view, her teachings, and her stories. It has been for me a way to further deepen my knowledge of this job, which, in my humble opinion, is essential because without it we could lose an important piece tied to the audiovisual product we are relating to, the chance to fully observe the scene and see in first person how important is the vocal acting when it comes to communicating. It's something that unfortunately not everybody has the luck or the chance to experience, and I strongly believe that we should definitely make the most out of it.